Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, GWFM, and today we're going to be talking about Leeds United. And not only that, we're joined by a guest. He's a fellow Leeds United fan, so if you'd just like to say hello, Mike.
Hello, are you alright?
Not so bad, not so bad. And basically, we're going to be talking mainly, it's to do with the fact that Leeds have brought in Marcelo Bielsa. I know we're a little bit late to the party, but it's just a case of trying to get people together to do it. Unfortunately, there was supposed to be three of us. There's only two of us this time. Maybe next time there'll be three of us. Hoping to maybe try and start up with these again. Maybe Mike and it was Martino who did it before. We can all get together again at a later date. But anyway, first of all, Mike, what are your thoughts starting off right back at the end of the season? And obviously June the 1st, we got rid of Heckingbottom. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's always not nice when you lose a manager. Obviously, especially with Leeds United, I think we're on our. I don't know, I think this is like our 11th appointment I've seen now since like 2012. So
Yeah,
obviously, with clubs you want to try and build consistency and foundations within a club, but I don't think it's probably the right appointment. Well, I suppose what was out there maybe at the time and as a quick fix maybe to. But it didn't really take us anywhere with the club. I mean, we had a massive slump after the new year. I don't think we won a game until like mid-March. I think wasn't it, or close to April.
I remember us beating. I think it was Brentford, wasn't it? We beat them, and then we went on another lengthy run of games, didn't we?
It was just like when it was almost like we forgot how to win. I think it was Burton Albion we beat Boxing Day.
Yeah,
and then I think it was just a run until kind of I think it was around about March, maybe start of March against Brentford, something like that. We picked up a win, and then I think we picked up another 3 points against I think it was Bolton. But after that, I mean, I think it was like 4 games winning the whole of 2018.
it's not so far.
It was just. Yeah, it was almost like he just didn't have a plan B. It was like when plan A wasn't working, there was I don't know, it was he didn't trust some of the youngsters at some points, but then at the same time he did actually give opportunities to some of the youngsters, but obviously it was kind of like too late then.
Well, that's what we're going to go on to about him, really, because the way I see it is he was doing a good job of bringing some of the kids into us back into the season because he realised that everything had gone. They had no chance of going and getting to the playoffs. I think pretty much we knew we weren't going to get relegated, even though we were like showing form, which was like bottom 3 for most of like this year. And it's just, but it was absolutely dire, and it was a shame that we got him in, and for me that he's not been able to have a transfer window just to see what he could have done. But I think to be honest with you, I think this deal with Marcelo Bielsa has been on the cards, and I think it was like an opportunity that was too good to turn down. And I think that's why they knew he was available. He was probably keen to come, so they thought, right, well, we're gonna have to get rid of Heckingbottom because we're gonna have to. But then they were smart about it because if they'd have sacked him straight away, they'd had to pay him £1 million. But because they waited until June the 1st, it meant like the clause in his contract meant that it gets $500,000. So it's still expensive in terms of it's quite a lot of money. It's like you and me, but in terms of like the touted amount that Bielsa's getting per week, for instance, at 68 grand a week. That's how much is rumoured to be on signing his contract for 2 years as well. And let's just say that with the option of a third, which is held by the club. So I suppose if we do bankrupt to sell sort of thing, at least we can get rid of him and after 2 years. But yeah, Heckingbottom, I liked the way he talked, he spoke, and I did mention that before in the previous videos, that I think he spoke a lot of sense, but I think getting his methods into practice was always going to be tough, especially if the morale of the squad was already low, and then some nobody who probably most of them haven't heard of, especially the foreign players, and he's like trying to get them to do stuff that they're not used to. Like you say, I mean, you're on about the youth players. I mean, the likes of Grot, and obviously Lasogga not being a youth player, they were towards back into the season. They were just shocking, and the work ethic was shocking as well. Like not even attempting to warm up. I think Lasogga. I seem to remember listening to Radio Leeds and Noel Whelan were berating Lasogga for not even like warming up properly. We're just like labouring. Like he's not like showing interest. So when you got players like that, it was always going to be tough for Heckingbottom. And let's be fair to him as well. He didn't exactly have many striking options otherwise. last season, but that may be about to change.
Hopefully.
I mean, anything else to add up on the Heckingbottom front?
No, I mean, obviously, I think he did. I know, obviously, he probably looked back as a failure, but I think there was positives to take out. As you said, his actual what he said after like pre-game and post-game. I think he did speak a lot of sense. It was disappointing that he didn't get a transfer window because maybe he could have brought in some of his own style of players and then we could have pushed on and seen what we did there. But obviously, I'd like to thank him for what he did do at the club.
Well, I think the main thing. Main thing being the youngsters, I think, the looks of things, because that's was really the main positive.
Really good. Yeah. So, but I think that's all I have to say on the.
Yeah, fair dues. So, onto the main subject, Bielsa joining us. He, obviously, I mean, a lot of people might not know who he is because I'm just thinking because of our fan base. Without being disrespectful, it's probably aging a little bit. The reason I say that is I think I mentioned it before. Is that the followers now, all the kids now, they're following the Premier League teams. So we've been out of the Premier League now for, this will be 14th year, won't it? Going into 15th if we don't make it next season, it'll be 15 years. So that's the peak time that kids are getting interested in football, properly, I think. And that's because we're in the Championship, we're missing out on a lot of fans. It's only the diehard dads that are getting the kids onto it, sort of thing. And it's just that's the way I see it at the minute. But a lot of them don't know who Bielsa is because maybe now the fans are accustomed to Championship football and maybe know Premier League and Championship and maybe League One and maybe below. I don't know, but they're not really savvy with the the knowledge of European footballers and stuff like that and managers, etc. Now, I'll be honest, if I didn't play Football Manager, which obviously is on the channel, I probably wouldn't have known about this guy neither. But I know that in the group that I'm in Facebook, a lot of people were saying, you've no idea who he is. When people are saying they know who he is, you've no idea, you've just Googled him. Well, that's not true. I mean, some of it may be all his past history, but we knew how good he was. I like to think you know as well, because you're a Football Manager connoisseur as well, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. But I've known about him because he used to always take control. I'm going back about 4 or 5 years of the edition of Football Manager. He'd always take control of Man U, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. Always end up at one of those teams. No matter what team you are, if you played a different save, he'd always end up at one of those teams. As soon as Alex Ferguson retired, or Wenger retired, or whatever, or Chelsea sacked the manager like they always do, he'd always end up there. Always.
I think it was FM15. I think it was.
Yeah.
I seem to remember him. He was always getting the big jobs all the time.
Yeah, I mean, within reason by all accounts. I mean, basically the accolades is not so much accolades is won, but it's a high accolade when someone like Pep Guardiola is saying that he's the best coach in the world, and you got Pochettino saying he's a father figure. And Simeone, I think Diego Simeone has credited him for his progression in the coaching scene as well. I mean, that alone is enough to get anyone excited, in my opinion. Because they're not exactly going to be saying that about David Hockaday, are they? I mean, come on. So
poor Hockaday.
So yeah, but what do you? I mean, that's what I mean. I'm just before I get into your actual thoughts. That's the leap in the quality that we've had. I mean, David Hockaday is one thing, but if you think back to the beginning of last season when Radrizzani first took control, we waited ages, didn't we, for a manager, and all of a sudden Christensen came out of nowhere, and no one knew who he was, and even we didn't know who he was. I'd like to think, when you look at him, you think, some day that played at Barcelona, he might be all right. But he started really well, didn't he? And people creating pictures of him like his face in place of Jesus' face and stuff like that, and it's just and when it was Rosé, it was very good, but then it just got found out, and I think it was too soft, which is, this guy's obviously threatening to fans with hand grenades and stuff apparently, so he's not going to take no shit. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm excited that I'm hoping that this guy is going to be the right fit for us. Right, what do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think with obviously the kind of, it's kind of gone away now, but obviously we used to have a brand around the same that Leeds United is a circus club. There's a lot of issues around the club, and some of them still haven't gone away, and it seems to be getting in a much better place. But I think he kind of just, I mean, obviously I think he's got a nickname of El Loco.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I think he kind of just fit into it. I think he's going to bring I think again he's going to speak his mind. He's not going to hold back from what, like, again, reports and stuff that I've read.
Yeah.
It just seemed that he's going to, hopefully shake the whole team up. He's got, as you said, he's been spoken about in high regards to Pep saying it's got, the way that he trains players is the way that you train players, how everyone should train players.
Yeah.
So hopefully from that point of view, a whole different philosophy, maybe something that we've not really seen at Leeds before. From just stuff that I've kind of read up on him, he likes a very tight defensive unit, and he likes quite a lot of pace. So I don't know if it's going to be maybe a high press with a counter on it. I don't know if we're going to be more of a counter team now than ever before, so I'm quite intrigued to see what style of play does bring to Leeds.
Well, it is something that he's had quite a reasonable amount of success with. I mean, I remember he got to the Europa League final, beating Man U, PSG, and there's another team as well. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but I know it was another biggish team, and they got to the final and got beat by Atletico Madrid in the Europa League final. And that in itself, for the team like Athletic Bilbao, who were like basically they were like a mid-table Spanish side, aren't they? They occasionally get into the Europa League. That was quite an achievement for him. But like he's like held in what's the word I'm looking for? He's basically treated like a god in Chile for how he did with them.
Yeah, he is. Yes.
And it's all to do with this philosophy he's got of having basically it's like a 3-3-1-3, isn't it? That's it.
Yeah.
Now, spoilers here. I haven't actually released it, I don't think, at this point, but I've been doing an experiment, and the way that it perceives his formations, it's meant to be really defensive for some reason, and they don't score many goals, but they don't ship many goals neither. It's like going back to the Howard Wilkinson way, when getting 1-0 wins, or George Graham, you might argue. But yeah, basically, it didn't seem to be the way it's set up, or the way I envision it. It should be like 3 at the back, 2 wing backs, 1 holding midfielder, like defensive midfielder in between. Then it's like, so that's 3-3, and then you got the 1 like just sat in front. It was like a creative player. Yeah. So he's sat in front of the defensive midfielder, and then you've got 2 wingers and a striker. That's the way I envision it. But the way it sets it up in the game is it puts 3 centre midfielders and then just one striker up top. So it's a bit hit and miss as to what it actually is on the game. But I'm hoping it's going to be different, because the way that they played, I mean, I've seen clips of that game against Manchester United, and Man U were at home, and it was Alex Ferguson in charge as well. Let's not forget, it was no David Moyes that you could blame for them playing crap. And they created about 20 chances, and they should have won by more. But I do remember watching it. I remember being at the pub and watching that and thinking, bloody hell, they look good at Athletic Bilbao. And like I said, sure enough, they got to the final, just one step too far against Madrid, Atletico.
Yeah.
But
it's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people saying that, he didn't have the best of time at Lazio and Lille. But obviously, prior to that, I mean, it was all like everything you've heard of every camp. It's all been good. Like Marseille was good. Obviously, his time at Bilbao was very decorated. Yeah. Obviously, he's been the national team manager of Chile and Argentina as well.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of people obviously speaking highly of him. He's been at a lot of big clubs. Obviously, you mentioned before the step up from the likes of obviously in the Championship. It's a lot of very similar to the Premiership. So it's always the kind of same kind of managers, coming in, and as soon as a manager leaves, it's just replaced by someone else who's just been sacked. And you think, well, what's the point of that? Is that you're not going to get anywhere. So obviously, when we got Christiansen, and I was pretty happy, because it wasn't a name that many had heard of, or it wasn't the same old kind of stuff. Obviously, the only downside to this, though, is that how much Championship football has he seen? Does he kind of understand the game? It's not as similar. It's not. He's probably not going to be used to the kind of style of the Championship.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say on that is sorry to jump in there, but by all accounts, he met up with Angus Kinnear, and I think he must have met with Radrizzani at some point as well. And he basically, his knowledge of, he basically watched every single game that we'd played, and also then he'd got his team had looked at all the opposition and how they play. So he's done a lot of research on that. So I'm hoping that puts gives us a bit of an advantage when he takes over. The one concern I've got is he doesn't speak the lingo yet. He'll obviously be learning it. He's got a translator, which I don't think, if you're trying to do a team talk and you've got a translator doing it, I don't think it's going to be as effective. One thing I will say is that I hope that he's got like the same sort of effect as like Rafa Benitez did at Newcastle. I'm hoping that that's what will happen. Lazio, 2 days he lasted, right? It's not because he's got sacked or anything like that. Basically, it was false promises. He got promised a load of money and a few other bits as well. When he took the job, 2 days later, he found out that they were just talking out their ass, or they didn't actually have the money, so he just left. And the other thing that I wanted to say is the one major concern for me with Bielsa, and this, I'm hoping it doesn't come to this, when Lille sacked him, he sued him for about 18 million quid. Yeah, so that's a lot of money we could not afford to. And then in the same breath, if it's going bad, can we afford to sack him? Because he's in a lot of money. It'd be a big payoff, in my opinion. But yeah, anything else to add on Bielsa, mate?
Just obviously, like, you know, so he's supposedly like he's a player that's trained a lot of great players. I think obviously he was kind of you know, I think this players come out and said like Mendy, who's obviously not Man City, said that obviously he's seen his biggest improvement underneath his leadership. There was also Llorente as well. I think he was a player who's come out and said that, you know, he's been the best player he's ever played. But even people like, I think even people like you know, he could put his boots on. You never know.
Maybe.
But even like, but I think Batasuta at one point said that he's basically the person who taught him everything. So I think from that point of view, he just seems like he's a real he's going to be on the pitch and actually talk to players. The bit you mentioned about the translator, I kind of understand what you're saying. Obviously, it doesn't come across great, but you got to think back that to one of the currently, I wouldn't say it's world class, but definitely getting there. Pochettino, when he came in, he didn't speak English, and he turned Tottenham round.
He went to Southampton, didn't he? And he did very, very well there, didn't he?
Yeah, so, and obviously got the Tottenham job, and now look where he is. So
yeah, I don't think it'd take him that long to learn language. Probably, I'd say, call it before made actual things that he needs to say. Give it 3 to 6 months, I reckon, and he'll probably be getting there.
It'll be an intensive course, won't he? So
yeah, of course it will. Yeah, I'm going to ask you about the thoughts on Orta, because he's apparently had a big part in getting him in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so I read reports as well. I think didn't he turn down a job from Deportivo? I think.
It was Victor Orta. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, he opted to stay, much to most of the fans on that Facebook thing's dismay. But I think if this comes off, and if obviously it has come off, we've got him in. But if it works out for us, I think he will have redeemed himself for the first season. I think going back to what happened with Christiansen, I think Christiansen was the cheap option. A bit like Heckingbottom was the cheap option. This is a massive sign of intent, and the fact that Orta's managed to play a part in it, I think it gives him a chance of redeeming himself.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, because obviously he's not flavour of the year with Leeds fans.
No.
But supposedly, he's come out now and said that, you know, he's going to start. He's listening, and he's going to be going more domestic-based players. Obviously, he's tried to bring in a lot of players from all over the place, which, you know, I don't really mind. Obviously, I'd like.
If they're good enough, we don't care. But it's like you say, when we're getting linked with some guy from Serie C or whatever it is, or Serie B, like Carpi, wherever they are, what were we called now? Jeremy Mbukutu or whatever we were called. Can't remember his name, but we were rumoured to sign him for $3.5 million. I mean, that's quite a lot of money, really, in context of how much we've been spending recently. I mean, we've been told obviously it's 20 million or 25 million. I think it's more 20 million by the sounds of things. That's for a Serie B / C player. That's nothing, is it? Really, it's not really not good enough, really, for what we need. You know, we want to be. I'm not saying go out and spend all the money on one player. But, you know, maybe we can get, you know, 7.5 million, 5 million on 3 really good players, and we get some loanees in. I don't know exactly how he's going to do it, but don't forget as well, we've also got, you know, the money from when we sold Chris Wood. That's coming 5 years every year, so we're getting another 5 year for that. I mean, obviously there's a deal with San Francisco 49ers, which I think has played a massive part in him coming in, if I'm honest with you, because I think if we go up, I think they'll invest more, in my opinion.
Definitely.
I think
it's only 10%
at the minute, and you imagine, I mean, just going to Fulham, for instance, their guys on about buying Wembley for £600 million or whatever. That's the bid he's put in. He's in charge of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are in the same field as San Francisco 49ers. So if that's the sort of money that he's able to pay just for a stadium, you know, then the sky's the limit, surely, if we get in Premier League and we've got San Francisco's on board. So that's makes me a bit, you know, dare I say it, moist. And hopefully, if we get up, then we will be there to stay as well, because that's the one that go up and down.
Like you're saying, if we get up, of course we will.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, yeah. But I'm a more of some people might call me pessimist, but I don't like to think I'm a pessimist. I think I'm a realist more than anything. I like to be optimistic at best of time. I like to give managers a chance and stuff like that. But I'm not like one of these where if we get a manager and he's like not a household name, I don't instantly say, "Oh, we'll sack him straight away after 2 games," because it's 2 games. You've got to give him longer than that. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on anyway. So it ties in with what your thoughts are on Rads for getting all these deals done. I'll let you just say what you might want to say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's from obviously the previous ownership.
Mr. Cellino.
I think anything was obviously he had his moments. To be fair,
it just reminded me of something as that as well. Go on.
Yeah. But yeah, it was obviously, I think he says a lot of the right things. I think it's quite good because he's fairly transparent sometimes on social media.
I like
he's
that,
quite active. He seems to like to keep us in the know as well. I don't think, I think obviously there's certain things he can't tell us sometimes, but I do think he does try and where he can do tell us information. Obviously, the fact that he's, this like San Francisco 49ers, there's things come out. We've got this, very highly rated manager coming in. I think everything's kind of going in the right direction at the moment. So, obviously, I don't think he's really done too much really wrong at the moment. But obviously,
there's a couple of bits, isn't there? There's a couple of bits, like for instance, the badge fiasco. That were a bit of a pain in the dick.
Oh yeah.
Where
I think I wiped that from memory too.
I kind of understood where we're trying to come from, but it just looked tacky and cheap, and I just didn't think it looks. Like I say, it looked like a Gaviscon bottle, didn't it? At the end of the day. But
I did actually completely wipe that from my memory. I think
you did. Well, it's easy to, the good things he has done, it's the stuff he's done around the ground. He's tried to spruce it up a little bit. One of my mates, he was a Man U fan, so he's going to say something bad about it anyway. I can understand where he's coming from. He said there's one side, the side where you're on the M621, I think it is. There's one side that's not really been spruced up, and it does still look a bit down. But on the main street and stuff like that, it's been modernised and that, and I think that's a good touch. Little things like that, like getting the girls' team up, started up again. Little things like in the background that people don't really appreciate, and a lot of people say, "Well, we're not bothered about that. We just want to get back in Premier League, then do that afterwards." Which I get. People want to get us back into the Premier League and get to where the money is and allow it to do that. But I still think it's good, and it shows that the foundations are there for someone like Bielsa to come in, and they say, well, what the hell have I come into here? If it all looks bob on and that, it's going to be more appealing, and to obviously investors like San Francisco 49ers. Another quick note as well, he did sell half of his shares in one of his companies that he deals with as well. I think it released about 9 million or something like that as well. So he's done quite a lot in terms of selling some of his own assets, if you like, or parts of his assets to try and fund this as well. So I think you've got to give him credit mainly for the show of intent more than anything. I think because
definitely. I think he has gone the right way about it. Because as you mentioned then about the foundations, I think if we were to kind of just speed through it and just throw money and try and get the players in and go up, then the foundations up there, there's probably a big chance we'll come back down again, and then possibly, history could repeat itself. We could spend all the money, not get where we needed to, go into liquidation again, and it could be horrible again. But I think he's definitely going the right way. It's slow, but at the same time, I think it is. There's no saying this. I think, again, I always think with the manager, the first season, I'll take it to completely off in the very end. I watch a lot of MLS football as well with my team over there, New England Revolutions.
Yeah.
I've got a new manager, it's Brad Friedel.
Big shovel hands Friedel, massive hands.
And a bald head. But he's took over and he's changed a lot. He's come in, he's changed a lot. The players are saying it's a more professional development. He's completely changed the whole philosophy of the team.
Yeah,
and it did take a little bit of time to kind of kick in, and people were a bit dubious, saying, "Oh, was it just because of his name and what he's done for American football over there? Is that why he got the job?" But you're now actually starting to see that we're winning games where and we're already even drawing games before where we previously definitely would have lost.
Yeah,
the team is 100% fitter. Points last season. At 70 minutes of the game, I was watching them, and they were just absolutely. They looked like they've been playing for 120 minutes. They were just on the dead on their asses and couldn't do anything. And I think again, he's kind of going about the right way now. He's bringing us up through some of the youth, and I think when you've got somebody who comes into the club and does things the right way, you can't always expect
instant
results. Like, straight away. It's not. So, that's not what it's all about.
So how long did it take for you to start seeing results then?
To be fair, it was only after a few games.
Right, so it could happen.
He's not going to care what if we had. We haven't really got any, I suppose, superstars at the moment in this club. But if we did have a big name, huge player.
Well, the biggest one's probably Pablo Hernandez, isn't it? But he's I would say he's massive. But
if Hernandez was not performing and not putting the effort in, I don't think for 1 minute, from what I've read of him, that he would hesitate on dropping him. I think.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it could be similar. Like I said, if we're getting Bielsa, it's going to be definitely a change of philosophy. I doubt. I reckon that's what it's going to be. I mean, I saw a clip of him checking the training session for Marseille, and it's like shouting like stuff like you can't. It's like incomprehensible because it's in like French, I guess, or something like that. And I didn't do French, so I've got no chance. And basically, he's just shouting basically what I could consider abuse, but it's just like basically telling him what to do with training. But like, it's just the fact that he's got like so much anger in his face when he screams like what he's saying. It's like you get Heckingbottom shouting it, but he'll just be saying it with like a straight face. Whereas this guy, he means business. And I just think, like I say, he's got like that sort of feel like what you've just said about Big Hellboy or Brad Friedel, because he kind of looks like Hellboy. And that sounds like similar in that regard. Whereas he'll be a big fish, I would guess, will Brad Friedel in. New England Revolution, you say?
That's the one, yeah, well done.
That's if he might be a big fish there, and it's like Bielsa's going to be, some Leeds fans might not agree, but a big fish with us, sort of thing. But it is true. He's I would say he's probably in like the top 20 managers, I would guess, at this moment in time in terms of club football. Anyway, just want to quickly say something. You mentioned our old illustrious chairman. He's actually rumoured to be in for two of our players, I don't know if you've seen this.
Two?
Yeah, he's at Brescia, isn't he? Antonson's one of them, and apparently he's after Tyler Denton on loan with a chance of signing him later on.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, fair. Denton, I'm not too really bothered about the Swedish wonder boy.
Yeah,
he isn't really
Antonson,
anything. But Denton,
I know you're a fan of Denton, aren't you?
Yeah,
you are a fan
only
of
because of Football Manager.
Yeah, I know.
I quite liked him, but to be fair, this season when he was given opportunities, he didn't really impress me too much. But I suppose if we've got an option and we've got an option to recall him if need be, but
he did quite well in under 23s, didn't he, by all accounts? But I think he did. Did he make it? I think he made 1 or 2 appearances. I think it might have been 1 appearance. I think in first team, but he'd been out on loan as well, if I remember rightly. Right, someone like York City or someone like that. I can't remember now, but yeah, he went out on loan most of the season. I don't think we'll miss him, especially the fact that Tom Pearce has signed a new contract. I think he's definitely going to be there. I reckon he'll get another left back in as well, so they'll be the 2 left backs. I think the Buck will probably end up out. I reckon. Yeah. Well, I mean, I might be wrong. Dibocki might get a better performance from him, but the one concern that I've got with Dibocki is when we signed him, he said he could not play as a wing back, and that's why he didn't get as many games for the Belgium national side, because they play 3, like the similar sort of thing with the 3 centre backs and wing backs. So with that in mind, I don't think that Dibocki will be around personally. I think he'll end up going. In terms of other outs, Wiedveld has gone. What are your thoughts?
Yes, Felix.
The cat.
Yeah, the cat. I think I can kind of understand it, I suppose. I'm presuming he's got an idea in mind. I think the fact that he didn't play towards the back end of last season, it was obviously Peacock Farrell.
It would push completely out, wasn't it? Because he wasn't even on bench.
Yeah, he was pushed out. I don't know if maybe he if he had to be saying it as well, maybe he wanted to go because he kind of maybe felt like he wasn't going to be part of the plans.
Well, I don't think it was that. It were our fans that probably made him want to go. If I'm honest with you.
Well, yeah.
When we're cheering him catching the ball,
No, yeah.
Yeah. So
obviously, like, to be fair, like he started off really well. To be fair, I think again he was almost like the form of Leeds as a whole. Really, he started off pretty well. But yeah, it almost seemed whenever he made like one tiny mistake, it seemed to affect him really. Like,
well, he made a mistake.
bad.
It usually cost us, didn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He didn't seem to get away with any of them.
He reminded me a bit of like David James.
Yeah,
bit, in a way.
Calamity
Very
James.
much, yeah. But the things that James was world class on a lot of days, whereas
he were hot and cold when he were either shit hot or he were the shit. But yeah, but he did well enough to get an England team, didn't he? So he must have had some.
Very true.
So, but yeah, moving on to transfer rumours, and there's a few here. Abel Hernandez, apparently, allegedly, don't quote me on this, it's what I've read, and it's from people who had already let me, not me, no personally, but he'd let a group know that I'm involved in about Bielsa about 2 weeks before that it had actually been basically sorted, but there was just a big delay in like things to do with work permit, etc. And yeah, he's actually mentioned as well, whilst he was on about the Bielsa, that Abel Hernandez is already signing for us. He just got told to go on holiday by Bielsa because there was a delay in him signing. So when he gets back off holiday, allegedly, I don't know when it's going to be, he should be signing at some point. But again, don't quote me, it's what I've heard. Vidra, I've been told, is apparently done as well, but this is a less reliable source, if you want to call it that. It's basically someone claiming that the sister works at Derby County and apparently said that it's a done deal. How much for? No idea.
That's the dog thing.
But I tell you what, though, if we got them to win, I think as our strike force, I'd be very, very happy with that. What do you think?
Yeah, obviously we need goals. We've got I think definitely. It was only towards the end of the season. I think it was Karen Roof was the only player kind of.
Yeah, Kamara Roof. Yeah, I think he ended up with about. Did he get 14 goals after? I think he got about 6 in cup or something.
Yeah, I think it was like 11 in the.
I can't remember exactly. I should have really checked it out, really, shouldn't
I? But yeah, I mean, I think like when you look at the strike force itself, I mean, I think if you actually look at the squad and actually look how many strikers, well, people who can play as an attacking striker, I suppose. Right? Yeah. We've actually got quite a lot on the books.
Yeah,
obviously Tyler Roberts was brought in and
injured.
Obviously, injured, so that was great. But yeah, I think I do think we need strikers because the ones we've got on the books just aren't of the right level.
They're not. No,
they're not. No, I reckon most of them won't end up staying at the club anyway. So, but yeah, I think as soon as I heard that Abel Hernandez was even rumoured, I was pretty excited about that one. Vidra would be ridiculous. I think he's a quality player. I was always really surprised that he stayed in the Championship for as long as he has done because.
He's had spells, hasn't he? I think he's been in Watford and West Brom, I think.
Yeah, but I do think he probably did. I don't know. I suppose he might be one of the players that are always good enough for the quality of the Championship, but just can't quite do that step up. A David Nugent of the world, it's
not quite good enough to make that step up. No,
or we could even say Jermaine Beckford as well. He's the player who jumped from League One to the Premiership and then
he got 12 goals in his first season. I don't know how many were penalties, but he did. That wasn't a bad return in my opinion.
It wasn't, but he wasn't. He wasn't a Premiership striker.
No, he wasn't. No, probably Championship at best, I think. But I'd be happy if they play. And I think the formation, it's going to be like one up front. It says 3 up front, but I think Vidra can still play on one at wings, can't he? I think he can play there as well. And he still gets plenty of goals from there as well. I think it was top scorer, I think, last season, 21 goals in Championship. So that if that's not a massive signal of intent, I don't know what is. And like you say, just touching on what you said about Hernandez, when we were linked with him, I thought, hey, up. Well, the fact that we're even linked with him is different. We're normally linked with Serie C. This is like after that Jerry, whatever he's called, from Serie B or whatever. We got linked with Hernandez. I'm like, it'd be a shit up signing. The only thing that worries me is his injury proneness, whether he is actually injury prone or just unlucky. It'd be interesting to see. But one other name that has been mentioned, I don't know much about him. I've got a few little bits written down. Weghorst from AZ Alkmaar. They finished third in Dutch league, and they got European qualification with that. And apparently, I've read that people watch the Dutch league. I don't know many people who do, but apparently some people do in this group. And they said that apparently He caused all sorts of problems for like Ajax and PSV. And I think I've got the total goals correct. 18 goals. I think in 34 appearances. It might be less appearances. I seem to remember it being better than a goal every 2 games. And it's not a terrible league in the Dutch league.
No, it's not.
I'd say 6th best, 7th best league, something like that. I mean, that's behind the Premier League. You'd probably argue Italian, German, Spanish. It's basically, you'd probably say Dutch league, French league, sorry, then Dutch league. I mean, you could argue because the French league is like 1 team or 2 teams and whatever. But like I say, in terms of how well they're doing in the European competition, it's Portuguese league as well, I suppose. So yeah, 6th to 7th best league, I would say, compared to Serie B and C, which is probably like 70th best league or something. I mean, you could argue we've got Grot from the same division, but that was from a team like in the relegation sort of areas. In fact, I think they did actually get relegated at the beginning of that season. Well, not the beginning, but we signed him after being relegated. But otherwise, I've just had another name that came to my head. I'll say a name that came to my head. It's a name that I can't remember how to say it because it's got like a funky Spanish name. I think he's like Spanish Basque or something like that from Athletic Bilbao. It was with Bielsa at Athletic Bilbao, and I think he played for Celta Vigo afterwards. And I saw it was a free transfer, but apparently it was released from Dundee, which kind of says everything you need to know. Whether it's actually good and whether it's just been linked with us because he used to play for Bielsa and he's free.
Possibly.
That's probably more so. But apparently, when you looked at his stats, like for with him in the team, without him in the team, he significantly improved the team at Athletic Bilbao and Celta Vigo. I don't know about Dundee, but this is just what someone put on, and I saw it the other day. I thought, well, it's a potential option. Obviously, it's only a rumour. I ain't seen anything concrete on that one. But moving on to another one, a popular one, I think. Bartley is still rumoured to be in talks with us. Still nothing been decided as of yet. But Luke Aylin's working. He's on the case at the minute on holiday. I don't know how long his holiday is over there, but apparently he's still chilling with him and what have you. Are you hopeful of that one happening?
Yeah, well, obviously we need
centre backs.
Back. Yeah, we need centre backs. I mean, obviously when his time at Leeds before was, him and Pontus were linked up really well. I think obviously if we can get him in, he knows the club already, he knows a lot of the players, he knows the league. I think it would be a good signing. I've also heard a few other players turn around as well. There's I don't know how to pronounce his first name. It's Kone though.
Aruna Kone?
No,
he's a striker.
He's a centre back. Sunderland plays for.
It's Sunderland, isn't it? They just got relegated.
Yeah.
Is it going to be good enough?
Well, so I've heard.
It's the first time I've heard of that one. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, so I've read that that he possibly could be on the way because obviously Pennington's not going to end up coming now because he signed a contract with Everton, so I think that's gone out of the way. Also, there's a player called Joel Asoro from Sunderland again.
Sunderland
players. Yeah.
Is this the bargain bin website or something you've been reading from? Like, no, all freebies are cheap ones.
Well, this one's to be fair, it's not a player who's he's not a first team player. This one isn't supposedly. He's a youth prospect.
Right, I see.
The 23s.
Right, I see.
And then also there's a left back which I'm not too overly impressed with. Manuel Cabit. From
I recognise that one.
Some team in France, La Ligue 2.
League 2. See, that's when, unless it's like under 23s or something like that, I can't.
Well, they did actually get to the promotion playoff finals, but lost out to Toulouse in the. Because obviously they play against the team who's going to be relegated, don't they? To
I see what you mean. Yeah. So they got to playoff final, if you like, to decide whether they go.
Yeah.
Right, I get you.
So he might be.
It might be useful. You never know, but it's just. I suppose League 2 is probably better. I would argue better than Serie C and B. I know I keep saying that, but that's just what we were accustomed to, isn't it? Getting cheaper players. The only one that really I thought was decent was Antonucci that came from there. From memory, anyway. Right. We've got obviously. I mentioned right at the beginning to do with Bielsa having like Pep Guardiola and Pochettino speaking highly of him, which also brings us into like the possibility of loans from those teams, from Man City and Spurs. Now, a couple of names that have been bandied about: Carter Vickers and Foyth from Spurs. Now, Vickers, I think Foyth as well, were both at Sheffield United last season. And obviously they started the season exceptionally well. I mean, what do you think to those two?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of movement on the Foyth one more than the Vickers one. But yeah, definitely take both of them easily. I mean, we need defenders.
Yeah. If we're going to be playing 3 at back, definitely. I think we've got Pontus Jansson and Liam Cooper as it stands, I think. And then Paddy O'Connor and other youth prospects so far. So, yeah.
Yeah, we've ended up playing Stuart Dallas there.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Utility Man last season.
Yeah, he just played everywhere, didn't he?
His quality is nice. I love how energetic he is. Go on, anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think both of them. I'd easily take both of those two. And I think if he's got links there and we can use him, I'd definitely like to utilise him. Obviously, Man City's got an abundance of youth players that I'd like to get my hands on as well. So
yeah, and then the other one for Man City, the one that's apparently got the most legs at this moment in time. Again, don't quote me; it's not necessarily going to happen, but is Brahim Diaz from Man City.
That'd be quality. That would.
Yeah. Seen much of him?
I've seen, because he's very heavily involved with the Youth Cup, wasn't he? So
yeah.
Any of the Youth Cup matches that were on TV, and I've watched a few on YouTube and stuff, and it does look good. I mean, again, I don't know what Pep's thoughts on Phil Foden is, but if we could get him,
either one, I think they're both very similar, aren't they? Just that one's English and one's Spanish. He's Spanish, isn't he? I'm sure he is.
He is Spanish,
He's Dutch with a name like Brahim, because I'm thinking of another player with the first name Brahim. But anyway,
is that your football manager knowledge?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just conflicting all my knowledge. But yeah, I think he'd be decent if we got him in. I think he's about 20-year-old, something like that. So whereas Phil Foden's 17, 18. So we'll have to wait and see what we with that one. But I think it's exciting times ahead, definitely. Especially if this last one comes in. This rumour that's, I don't know how true it is. I've heard that there's actually a chance of it happening, but whether it does, I don't know. Fernando Torres.
Yeah.
34-year-old, I think he's 35 anyway, year-old Fernando Torres. Do you think he'd be too old, or do you still think he'd be class and be able to do a job in the Championship?
No, in the Championship, I think, he'd be, I think he'd be good enough for us.
You don't think he'd be like Dougie Freeman in League One?
No, I think he'd be more like Lee Hughes. Although that's a controversial player to name, but obviously when he was in, is it League 2 with Notts County?
Notts County, yeah.
Or even who is it? Is it Lee Trundle?
Lee Trundle. He used to be at Tranmere and Swansea.
Yeah, but he's playing in League 2 or something in Wales now, and he scored 40 goals or something ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's a different standard, I think, that, Mike.
It is, yeah. But no, I think he'd still be able to do a job, and I think the only issue I've got is that there's gonna be Chinese and MLS teams that are probably willing to bring them in on big contracts, and that if we're being pushed for a bigger contract and it.
Well, on that,
rock the boat.
Just sort of saying that as well. If we were to sign him, right, I know he's aging a little bit, but just think of the shirt sales. I mean, we went to Burma, and I know obviously that were a bit controversial on that, but they'll be all over that, won't they? They'll all know who Fernando Torres is, and they'll get Leeds shirts, get Fernando Torres on the back or whatever. They'll be loving it, and that's another way. It might be because if he's free, we sign him. We might have to pay him a lot of wages or whatever. I don't know how much it'll be, but the potential revenue that we get from that, it could be like really good for us. Obviously, it depends on the fan base, doesn't it? How big they are, because they're saying now. Who did they buy now? They bought Scum bought Pogba, didn't they? And they already made the money back straight away by out shirt sales. Yeah, so that's the sort of thing I was trying to get at with regards to that. So, but then,
I think it obviously it depends if you get Liverpool Torres rather than the Chelsea Torres, because no one wants the Chelsea Torres.
No, I think Chelsea Torres will probably still do a job at Championship. I know he missed a couple of sitters, didn't he? But yeah. So
there is some dodgy defenders in the Championship. So,
there is,
definitely.
And then finally, and this is going to both anyone who has decided to watch till this point, which if you have, legends. But yeah, to you as well, Mike. Who realistically would you like to see us sign?
We haven't mentioned, or just in general.
Just for Leeds, just this season, who do you think's realistic that we could sign that would be very good for us? Who would you most like to see us sign? Because obviously you can't say Messi or Ronaldo because it's never going to happen. You know what I mean? But
you never know the pull of our manager now.
Yeah. I don't think they'll be willing to come to the Championship though.
to be fair, the players we've been kind of like linked with all single. I've also heard of Stockdale and Angus Gunn as well.
Oh yes, I forgot about them. Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, everyone we kind of linked with, I've actually been apart from the ones that I mentioned, maybe because they were a bit off. I think I don't know where there are rumors out there, but I think I'm not really happy about them ones. But yeah, all kind of big ones that kind of seem to be having a bit, I've got legs on them and they are actually moving. I definitely take all of those ones. Yeah, I kind of hope we don't go for players, that Sunderland, basically all the teams that have gone down, trying to bring some of their players in, or maybe some of the teams that have come down buying some of their players. Unless obviously Shaqiri wants to come to Leeds, I wouldn't mind that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think. I mean, I honestly would like to just see us use the loan system a bit, but also put clauses in with some of the loans.
The future, future transfer.
Yeah, so we could bring them in. So if we could get, any of the links from Tottenham to Man City in, I mean, even like Jack Harrison, he was on loan at Middlesbrough last season. He had a good season when he came on. It was only a bit part player, but he still performed really well. There's definitely players out there, but no, to be fair, I'm pretty. I think other than we need the two strikers we've been named with, I think will solve that problem.
If they definitely are. So, I mean, I've been told that they're done apparently, but it remains to be seen.
That, I think we've got we have got Roof who can play there, but also can play out wide.
Yeah, his versatility will probably keep him in team, I think.
Yeah, we've got Tyler Roberts to come back, so that's another depth player potentially there. In terms of midfield, we've got Samuel Sayes, we've got Hernandez, we've got Forshaw, we've got quite a lot of players, Phillips.
A few people like Phillips and Vieira, haven't we? And then there's Kane, but there's quite a lot of fans not keen on Phillips. One in particular who I work with, he's not a fan of Phillips at all. He said he just slaughters around. He doesn't like. He doesn't feel like he puts in the effort all the time. That's why I kind of agree with him, but in a sense, but it's. I think it's just because it's hard to say because he's not really a kid. He's 22 now. It's not really a kid, but I think he'd like grow out of it. But that's for another time anyway. We'll get onto team performance at a later date when the season kicks off again. But yeah, otherwise it's for me. I don't know. I mean, the fact that we've got the links with Spurs and Man City, that really excites me. I mean, if we could get someone like Phil Foden. I mean, the few games I've seen him play, he looks like he's gonna be unreal when he gets older. Unless he gets like a bit bad injury and ends up turning into another Jack Wilshere, or Wilshere as he's otherwise known. But
Jody Morris.
Yeah, Jody Morris. Bloody hell! That's the past we used to have him, didn't we? Back in the day when we first got relegated, I think it was. It might have been. I can't remember what the season we did get relegated. We're not other anyway. But I suppose on that note, I think we can call it a video there. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you have indeed enjoyed it, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you'd like to see more, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, don't forget to hit the notification bell. And then my mind's going blank because I'm thinking, don't forget about Mike. Obviously, don't forget to check out Mike's channel as well. There'll be a link in the description. I don't know if you want to just say a few things what you do on there, Mike, just in case anyone is interested.
There'll be no one. I basically just make videos on like Android gaming. I do my whole channel just on my tablet. I don't use a PC, so it's quite a niche market. But yeah, I think I make okay content. So if you have a spare few minutes, head over there and check it out.
And it does a great impression of Eddie Gray. Right, go on, mate. Go on, no pressure.
It's a terrible Scottish accent.
It's quality. Go on.
Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's me, Eddie Gray here.
That's just like a little sneak peek as to what he's capable of. But yeah, he's done a few like interviews as that man there, and I had great fun doing it. But anyway. Until next time, which I'm not sure what it'll be. Probably when we get a few more transfers in. I'll try and get Mike on again if he's up for it, and hopefully get Matt as well for his input as well. But until next time, I'll see you later on.